suicide.
Well, that's kind of our thing.
I'm a superhero!
I do not mind the rain sometimes.
The Suicide Squad. Supervillains Harley Quinn, Bloodsport, Peacemaker, and a collection of nutty, unstable convicts at Belle Reve Prison join the super secret, super shady Task Force X as they are dropped off at the remote enemy-infused island of Corto Maltese. The Suicide Squad is an action-adventure comedy and sci-fi written and directed by James Gunn, starring Idris Elba as Bloodsport and Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. Guys, welcome back to the channel. And without further ado, let's go through this review of the Suicide Squad at a very breakneck pace, the same pace at which this film went on itself. And before going into this, there was an abundance of hype, especially when the film's embargo was lifted. We got to see the fans' reactions on Twitter and obviously the Rotten Tomato score. I don't, myself personally, I don't really go by Rotten Tomatoes too much, because as with the past with other movies, I don't know, I feel like the rating system is like, you know, it's very hit or miss. It's either or, and I don't think it gives a direct depiction of what the movie truly is. But other than that, the ratings came out, perpetuating that this was amazing. It was a great film. And I gotta say, for myself, I had an absolute blast with this film. And this film only just felt different. And before going into the film, myself and my friends, we had this conversation, and we were sitting directly opposite the theatre before we went in, and there was a poster of the Suicide Squad, and we were having this very nihilistic, dark conversation about who is going to die in this film. And my friend said, well, basically anyone that isn't on the main poster, they're dead. But basically, the point is, it's dawned on me, like, when is it rarely that we have these conversations based on a comic book movie on characters that are possibly and definitely that are going to die? And you know that James Gunn has captured something in essence of lightning in a bottle with this film, because these conversations are very rare that you're going to have most of the time, even within the DCEU and MCU. And, you know, with the setup of the MCU, there's this constant continuity of characters, the interconnecting films. And, you know, that overbearing thing of you knowing that with these characters, it's just going to continue on. They're going to stay alive and you'll see them in the next film. But with this film, it takes so many risks. And as myself as a filmmaker, you've got to really tip your hat to that, because it really does create this experience. And with that opening, I mean, really do expect the unexpected. And with one character in particular in that opening, the entire cinema, my screen, was in fits of laughter. I mean, I can't remember the last time I laughed that much watching a film, and that might have possibly been watching The King of Staten Island. And funny enough, Pete Davidson was in The King of Staten Island, and then he is in the Suicide Squad as well as Blackguard. But that moment, it completely caught us off guard, and it's hilarious. The movie is bonkers, it's raucous, out of left field comedy. It's got that dark satirical tone, you know, and James Gunn has been pulling from his earlier days with his development and his conflict of writing, you know, with the likes of Sliver and little camaraderie, funny moments just like Dawn of the Dead as well. And with that opening, what's great about it is it sets the stakes, it sets the tone, and thereon in, there is this overbearing sense that any character that you like could be toast at any second, any minute. And in this film, we got Idris Elba playing Bloodsport, and his character takes a very intriguing character arc that is actually very cleverly interconnected with another character, with the Ratcatcher. And for both of those characters asking these questions of, what is it that they want, but what is it that they really need? You see with Bloodsport, with Robert Dubois, he's essentially got like these, responsibility issues because of, what he's had to deal with in his life of always being abandoned. And this movie is him finally coming to the crossroads of, now it's time for me to actually step up, because not only is it somebody now that really depends on me, I have to bring this ensemble of nutcases to get this job done. And if we don't get it done, then the stakes for that character leads to this tragedy domino effect for him. So he really is all in the mission. And talking about Ratcatcher, I mean, this is the crazy thing with James Gunn, because his sense of humor is mad. He can make you feel empathy for a rat. I mean, how so often can you actually say that for a film, other than maybe if you watch Ratatouille or Pixar film with animals in it, and you're feeling empathy in a rated R film, and it's like I catch myself when I'm watching this film. I'm like, this guy is making me feel emotions for a rodent, for a pest. I mean, how do you do that? And it's almost like as if James Gunn is the only person that could, in a sense, pull that off. I mean, he pulled off us having love for Groot, and you see that play out. He's so good with taking these misfits, of the world and making them, grounding them and making them feel human. One character that's, in a sense, on the verge of losing their humanity is Amanda Waller. And I love I think there was more of a case of showing in this film just how cutthroat Amanda Waller is, and that she really does not take shit from anyone. She's got this nihilistic, sociopathic approach to her job and to these missions. But to her, these people, they truly are cannon fodder to her. To her, it's like water underneath a bridge, water off a duck's back. These people, the people that are part of Task Force X. And you just see at what extent she's willing to go. And she's got that mindset of a few for the many, and doesn't matter about individual people. The film does a great job of showing that even if these people are being put through this essential solitary confinement at Belle Reve, there's something wrong with them. The film does a really good job of showing that, yes, they've done bad, but at the same time, they're kind of like misunderstood. And at the same time, with Amanda Waller, she can't actually understand that. She just sees them as, the criminals, and my way of being nice to them is to give them a lesser sentence if they complete the mission. And that if is a very big if when you see the first 10 minutes of that film. And I love the dynamic between Robert Dubois and Amanda Waller. Let's talk about David Dastmalchian. Now, I've never seen a more absurd character for a long time watching films over the last, 2 years possibly. Like, this character, his ideology and the pure base of what floors him is absolute insanity, and I love it. Part of comedy is to be as out of left field as possible. Just something that people just generally wouldn't think about is what James Gunn puts in his films, and that's why it's funny. You know, he like reaches into the very depth of your subconscious to find the weirdest thing that he could possibly put on a film, and he just does it. This guy made me root for a character that shoots polka dots at people. And at the same time, I absolutely love King Shark. That was voiced by Sylvester Stallone. And then again, a very clever character art that's being done with this character. You know, this question of nature versus nurture. And again, you know, it's this nuance from Amanda Waller. Like she's gone and put a predator amongst these people, and it's like he can't fit amongst society because it's a walking shark, and all that King Shark wants to do is try to fit in a sense. And it's like, man, like, bro, man, why do I feel sorry for a bloodthirsty shark? But that's down to once again James Gunn's brilliance. John Cena does a great job of playing Peacemaker, this contrived, delusional, contradicting person. I mean, it's hilarious in itself that somebody can say, I don't care if I kill every man, woman and child for peace. You're killing and peace in the same sentence like that. And even John Cena said that to himself, that really does perpetuate just how delusional he really is. Now, again, John Cena as Peacemaker is great, and there is this great ongoing scene between Bloodsport and Peacemaker in the jungle. And if you've seen the scene, you know where it is. And that is what for me was one of the best moments of the film. Now, to say that, I feel like the trailers actually done Peacemaker a little bit of a disservice, and I'll tell you why. I feel like because bearing in mind, the studio knows, well, it's already wrapped. It's just in a post-production stage. They've already wrapped on Peacemaker, the TV series. And I think they knew that with all the trailers, they wanted to show John Cena, they wanted to show Christopher Smith, Peacemaker, in all of the trailers, all of the TV spots. But in doing so, they showed all of his funniest moments, the majority of them, right? So I'm sitting there in this IMAX screening in Leicester Square, and I'm watching it, and all of the moments, all the camaraderie, all of the banter and the jokes that are coming from him, some of the moments I've already seen in the trailer. But like I said, that jungle scene was obviously, they didn't show that to us. And that was a really funny moment. But at the same time, I feel like it was an ensemble moment. As much as it was Bloodsport and Peacemaker being funny, it ultimately became an ensemble moment of, this is like, you know, it just shows that, yeah, these guys aren't heroes, they're villains, right? And it was a brilliant way of pulling the rug underneath the audience, and then us just doing a face plant on the floor, and then we wake up back to reality like, oh, I thought they were heroes. Oh yeah, they're clearly not. You know, yeah, and it's done in that style of The Boys, you know, just hard, just balls to the wall. But no, yeah, I just felt like they gave a little bit too much away with Peacemaker, and I was just left feeling like it wasn't John Cena's fault by any means. It's just like the marketing was just so heavy because they know that in the future he's going to get his own TV series. But in that itself, Peacemaker's a cool character, and I can't wait to see where they go with him with that series. This is Margot Robbie's third outing as Harley Quinn, and Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn is brilliant. And the fight choreography that she does with that javelin, I mean, it was great. No like stupid, shitty shaky cam, and and we got to see 3 cuts of somebody throwing one punch to someone's face. So it gives that air of realness to that character, and and I love what they do with how she sees things from her perspective, amongst all this insane carnage. And it was a nice little touch to the film. And just to add, the cinematography is great. There's this clever thing of, because the movie is behind the lines, and it's got this kind of Cold War Black Ops covert kind of feel to it. The movie's got that kind of cold blue hue over the screen, that kind of coldness to it. And I know having that aesthetic to the screen and being a hard R, it makes all of the colours pop off the screen really well. And that's a nice touch from James Gunn. And to add to his direction and his relationship with cinematography, I love, there's one moment where they're in a van and the shot is all done in one shot. You're just moving here, going here, and just now it's a different emotion. Now the scene's changed. I don't know what it is. I just absolutely hate it when a director just goes cut, 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 and you can't feel any of the emotion or the fluidity of the scene. And with James Gunn's shots, there's a nice movement to it. Let's talk about some points where I felt like the movie, this is where I can't call the film a masterpiece, as we've all seen a lot of people give hype to this. Like, I feel like the Thinker, played by Peter Capaldi, like, he's cool, I like him, but he just feels like he's been put in there for the sake of him being there, and there was no real reasoning, or he's just essentially a pawn for Amanda Waller, essentially. And then when it was like that, I was like, well, he ain't shit then, is he? Like, do you know what I mean? He's not, essentially with that character. And I just felt like the whole thing with him was anticlimactic, especially with what happens to him. And I'm like, well, he's meant to be the one that can, get to the main big boss, in a sense. And then it's just kind of like, well, no, we can't, goodbye, So I didn't know it could have been handled better. And the way that they set up the whole thing of the army overthrowing the rebels, the government, and all that, like, it had that good tone, and I wanted to maybe explore that a little bit, but you can't win it all. I know that. Again, with Starro the Conqueror, I just wish that there could have possibly been a little bit more seasonings, a little bit more spice in there as to, where does this thing actually come from? And it's just like, well, he just, this fucker was just floating in space one day and we just thought, oh, let's do whatever with it, So it just feels, when it came to those main villains, it just kind of felt like, we'll give you the glass half full, But at the same time, how am I meant to take a film so seriously when there is a talking shark and there is a dude that is shooting polka dots at people? Like, how am I really meant to be like, oh, I can't believe it's not a masterpiece, like, in that kind of sense. I look forward to what's going to be happening with this Peacemaker series. I hope, and with the title of Peacemaker, I mean, not only does Christopher Smith as a character see himself as the Peacemaker, I also see Amanda Waller as that person with that fixed ideology, and with the name of Peacemaker as your series, I feel like it would be I feel like it's a golden opportunity to explore, you know, the real, where did the penny drop for Amanda Waller to be this character? Like, I'd love to explore that with her, because, how, somebody, no character can just wake up one day and be that nihilistic, in the world that you live in. So I want to explore that. I want to go to the deep roots. I want to see the first person ideology. I want to see it. I want it to be served on me. And the thing is, it's great to explore, because you're going to have 9 episodes, and it can be truly get great, that show, because it can be the first 5 or 4 can be in the past a little bit, and then you can go fast forward to the present as to where we are post the Suicide Squad. So I'm looking forward to that series, and it's coming down to my rating, and I will say I had an absolute blast with this. I was laughing non-stop. I've seen a lot of people say most of the jokes didn't land, but very rarely did I think, oh, that was pointless. Well, why is that there? And I can see why this film has received so much love, because this film it doesn't feel like it's the copy and paste, cookie cutter, interconnecting kind of film, because James Gunn is hitting his conflict and his character development so heavy, and he's not, this man is not like putting one little toe in the pool. The man is jumping all the way in. He's basically saying, look, you can love this or you can just lump it, because this is what I want. This is my vision. As much as it can be gratuitous, or it can be nonchalant with the characters, and and it feels like it really is its own thing. And we also know there's adherences to, there's adherences to the universe, the DCU, and so on and so forth. And it just stands on its own in a great way. And you can perceive it to exist in the universe, which it does, but it feels like it's a single entity of a film. And to add, I hope that they do Robert Dubois' character justice, and we get to see him actually, his altercation with Superman, which which was mentioned in the trailers as well. But here's the thing: we don't know which Superman. Is it the reboot Superman? Is it is it Henry Cavill's Superman? And it's obviously not being told for what it is, because obviously Warner Bros. Hasn't got a clue at this moment in time what Superman are they really going to go with, And as much as James Gunn said that this film was his full vision, when I saw that one scene, I was like, nah, bro. Studio executive looked over your script and go, you gotta have that shit ambiguous, because we don't know what we're doing with our collections of Henry Cavill's or Val Zod's or Calvin Ellis characters. We don't know. Hey, Warner Brothers has, from time to time, they haven't really been knowing what they've been doing since, even with Zack Snyder's Watchmen. So, and don't worry, very soon you're going to see my consensus on what I thought about the scene they took out of that film, and you will not believe it. But final rating, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. You have got to see this in the cinema with your friends, your companions, your cat, your dogs. Just go see the film with as many people you can see it with, and I can assure you'll have a very fun time watching it. Step in the right direction from DCEU. This is the time for the DCEU to just hit a new stratosphere. And because this film will be perceived well, I'm just hoping the executives will go, oh, we actually got something here. And they go with this tone, and we go and we see more, movies like this that don't play it safe. Guys, thank you for watching. Like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.